If Nembom is excited for today's snapshot, then my friends, I am hyped. My curiosity is piqued. What technical wizardry are we going to see in this snapshot? While we wait for its release, I've got some things to share with you. Switching over to the preview edition equivalent of last week's snapshot, there's something that Java Edition doesn't have, and I have a hunch that it will be coming soon. We're right on the edge of a sulfur caves biome, and when I move in a particular direction, the fog changes back to normal. When we go into the sulfur caves, the fog color takes on this yellowy green hue. We don't have that here on Java yet, so at some point I reckon we will see this. Maybe in today's snapshot we might. First in this video, I'm going to be answering questions from the comments of last week's snapshot, which introduced two new cube archetypes. One of these is the hot archetype, which utilizes the magma block. It's stated here that this damages nearby mobs as if they were touching the magma block. This means that we can take advantage of the Frostwalker enchantment. If you have this equipped in survival mode and walk on magma, you can freely walk across it without having to hold down shift. So let's see what happens when we get in a hole with this magma block. I no longer take damage from it. Just in case you needed a reminder, it does indeed damage the player. Now there are mobs in this game that don't take damage from the magma block, like the Wither Skeleton and the Blaze, and that is passed on to the Sulfur Cube. So when we get them in this space, you're going to see that they don't take no damage. Sulfur cubes are not one of these mobs. They will take damage on top of the magma block, even one with the magma block inside of it, or any other type. So yes, you can ignite a TNT sulfur cube with a magma cube one. Armor stands and boats are entities that are also immune to the magma block. So you won't be surprised to hear that the sulfur cube can't damage either of these entities. Many of you wanted to know the death message from this cube. I can tell you now, it's the same as dying from a magma block. Asuma discovered the floor was lava. What about Asuma discovered the sulfur block was magma? Nah, it's really not that catchy, is it? Asuma hugged a sulfur too hard? I bet y'all will come up with some way better ideas than I can. So go to the comments down below and put in your best custom death message for the sulfur magma cube. And I guess this guy might need a custom death message too. Asuma was blown up by Sulfur Cube. That one might just stay as it is. When we tested the TNT Cube last video, I failed to realize there's a simple way to verify if the powered rails are triggering this thing off, and that is to simply power it from further away. So our TNT Cube does not get set off by a powered rail. But if you have one of these in a minecart on that rail, at some point it's going to go past the power source and get set off. Many of you asked me to put Fire Aspect onto a spear, and now I understand why. If you sprint into it, you'll also set it ablaze. The poke attack does the same thing too. It's actually called the jab, isn't it? Yeah, spear jabs. Another cool combo from the comments involves Fire Aspect 2 and Knockback 2. Wow, look at this. It turns it into like a ranged attack. You ignite it and then you set it far away from where you're currently standing with the knockback. That's awesome. All right then, today's snapshot, well, not just yet. First, we have some Minecraft news. That's right, Minecraft Live has been announced already. That's because this year we're getting a bonus Minecraft Live in May, and this is going to tie in with the third drop of the year, the one that comes after the Chaos Cube. So at this event, apparently we're getting developer insights, a early sneak peek, that'll be the next drop, and much more as well. It'll take place 2.5 weeks from now on Saturday, May the 30th. This is when TwitchCon in Rotterdam takes place, and so Minecraft are teaming up with them to bring us a third Minecraft Live event. Well, I guess I should say second, because the third one will be later in the year. So on May the 30th, we're probably going to find out what the next drop is, and I want to refer back to this video that was shared quite some time ago, like maybe a month ago, where we could see the set that's going to be at TwitchCon, and there in the middle, hidden by Steve, are some very purpley trees. Now, I am not one for speculation, but I would point out these kind of look like cherry blossom trees, just a lot more purple. And of all the teasers they drop, I think that one was quite intentional. My bet is that we're going to get a new purple tree and a new wood type. But hey, you'll have to tune in to find out, right? You can watch TwitchCon live, or of course, if you want to get the recap, subscribe to this channel and there'll be a video for you telling you what the next drop of Minecraft is going to be all about. Unless they reveal something totally different, of course. All right, it's time to bring things to the present. This is 26.2 Snapshot 7. With it, we have a brand new music disc as well as other music too. This one is called Bounce and it was made by Fingerspit. If you put this record into a jukebox, it will obviously play the record and produce a redstone signal strength of 8. As is tradition, for those of you that want to hear this record disc in its entirety, I've uploaded it to my second channel. The place to find this record disc is actually inside of a mineshaft. If you find a mineshaft chest, you could get this record disc inside of it. But there is a catch. This mineshaft has to be generated inside of a sulfur cave biome, and this is the closest that I've found. This thing sits above an area that has quite a few sulfur caves in, but unless it generates through it and is inside the biome, you won't get the record disc inside of the minecart chest. I decided to teleport around this world and hopefully get lucky, which I have. There's clearly a mine shaft here inside of a sulfur cave biome. Commands are fantastic, but I'm not getting lucky. Okay, this might be the one. Clearly inside the biome. No record disc. Despite seeming quite close, I only got one minecart that generated inside of the biome. So it could be that this one might be very tricky to get in survival. Oh look, and we got some of these sulfur springs. We didn't get to show these naturally generated last time. That is a much nicer look than what we had before, in my opinion. So we may have not had much luck, but it does say here, minecart chest minecarts in a sulfur cave biome. And there are also 5 new music tracks added by Fingerspit. We don't yet have the details of when and where inside of the game these will play, but I can tell you that these were released as a part of a new Minecraft soundtrack today. So all 5 of these new songs and Bounce, the record disc, are available to listen to on Spotify and I imagine other streaming platforms too. Now let's go over some of the general changes. Here's one for the Sulfur Cube archetype, known as Slow and Bouncy. This is mostly for stone blocks in the game, and it was previously buoyant in water. For stone, that's quite counterintuitive, so now they will sink in water. The color of this block right here will change inside of sulfur caves. I am rather curious to see what this will look like. I don't think that's like a new shade of grass. This feels very familiar. But I guess the change makes sense. And that reminds me about the fog. So let's turn our render distance down. And well, it looks like we don't have the green fog just yet inside of the sulfur caves. Maybe next snapshot. Okay, this next change is a big one. It's a huge win, and I think it's a sign of things to come because we recently saw the bed turned into a proper block instead of a tile entity or a tile block. I forget what the correct terminology is. Anyway, here I've spammed a bunch of signs and a couple of beds and banners, because banners, they still disappear at a certain distance from their location. All right, and that was around here somewhere. So as I move forwards, they pop into existence. As I move back, they pop out. Signs used to do that, and as you can see, the signs are still there. This is absolutely fantastic. Really happy to see this, especially with signs, because you can use them a lot for details in builds. And I guess the same could be said of banners too. So fingers crossed, banners might get this treatment in the future. Who knows? The banner might be a little bit different. If you didn't know, it's an animated block. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Remember the Nembon tweet? I reckon this might have been for the signs. All right, let's talk about the geysers, because some changes once again. This potent sulfur block right here no longer has data in it about when it will erupt and won't erupt. Their randomized timing is now based on their position in the world. This change makes a lot more sense when you realize we now have a way to control eruptions. That one right there was a random eruption because of the magma block. Let's go ahead and remove it, and with some redstone we can deploy lava below it. And then it'll continuously erupt, which is just a fantastic solution right there. When we take away the lava, it stops erupting. This basically gives us complete control over its eruptions with redstone. And that, I think, is a better implementation than moving the block below it too, because then you don't have piston sounds to put up with. Now you just got to put up with those annoying clicks from the dispenser. I also have my sounds turned down for this video, so note that when you use lava, the eruption sound is going to be slightly muted. Another change will allow these noxious gas particles to go through non-collidable waterloggable blocks. I believe they are all on my hotbar. So it can go through a sign. Yeah, skulk vein, resin, coral, glow lichen. Let's put a coral block over here so we can see that in action. Got to pick out the right type as well. There you go. This is also true for eruptions. There we go. And apparently scaffolding as well. Well, the gas particles are there. So it works with scaffolding. Oh, and look at this. The main menu background panorama. That's really dark. That's quite bold and different. And I got to admit, I didn't actually notice when I first fired up the game. I was really excited to hear that new record disc. I've listened to it a bunch of times now as well. I really like it. I think Minecraft have made some really good decisions with picking the different artists to work with for the game's soundtrack. And Fingerspit will be no exception. I guess now we should talk about this. Except we can't. Well, we can talk about it a little bit. When I click on that button, you get this screen explaining that the friends list lets you communicate with people outside of Xbox or friends on your Xbox. It's really not clear. Apparently you can manage this setting in your Microsoft account, but that is a bit of a mess to navigate. And I believe the issue I might be encountering is that I haven't done age verification on my account. So there should be a lot to show you here, but I can't really do anything. I've been trying to add a bunch of my own accounts and other people I know as well, but I always get this error message. So as it stands right now, I'm really not able to show you exactly what's going on with this new system that's been added. It did come with a bunch of UI changes, so we got some cool little buttons here. On their website, there is a bunch of documentation explaining how all of this works. My hope was to go through some of this myself and then maybe break it down and make it a bit easier for you to understand. There is also some known issues that we can expect to improve over the coming snapshots, so hopefully I can get this going by next week when the next snapshot drops. But yeah, sadly, that's all I can show you for now. If you do get it working, however, there's going to be a peer-to-peer system, which means you could take your single-player world and simply just invite a friend to come and play on the world with you. And that is kind of a huge deal. I think many players are absolutely going to love being able to do that. It should be noted, though, that with that will come a new bunch of telemetry data that gets tracked. And Mojang disclosed the details of the data on the article that is linked in the description box below. We also have a couple of bug fixes worth mentioning. This one I'd seen exploited, dispensers being able to equip armor on sulfur cubes. This would give the sulfur cubes the ability to take advantage of enchantments like Frostwalker and Thorns. This did lead to some very interesting mechanics, but it turns out those were unintentional. Another bug fix relates to geysers and transparent blocks. I noticed in this snapshot that these eruptions no longer go through waterlogged copper grate blocks. I'm pretty sure it's related to that bug fix. All right, that's going to be it from me this snapshot. Be sure to tune in next week and hopefully we can learn more about the friends system. But that's it. So thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.